Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new session with Rights and Responsibilities Awareness Initiative. Today, we are lucky again to have Rebekah Ryersee, a licensed paralegal, to talk to us about a very important topic, navigation of the Landlord and Tenant Portal. Rebekah, thank you very much for being here with us today.
No, thank you so much for that welcome, Heath. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. It's part three of the Landlord Tenant Board presentations that I've prepared. And I got to say, this has been very informative, not only for myself, but also for quite a few other people. So if you do ever want, go back and check us out. We've got a maintenance issues and matters between the landlord and tenant. We also have of the evictions, if you ever receive an eviction notice. So today, what we're going to be doing is navigating the landlord tenant board as if you were doing it on your own. So to start off with, entering into a new unexpected situation is always daunting. Whether you've received an eviction notice from the landlord or you're a landlord looking to resolve and rectify some tenant issues. We're here today to navigate you through the process and show a quick tutorial of the Landlord Tenant Board actual website and the portal that they expect you to use. So I'm going to pull up my screen and share with everybody. This is a presentation that I've done. If you need a copy of it, it will be available through this session, or you could just ask to have it emailed to you. That's up to Heatham. But I'm just going to show you here real quick. There we go. You should be able to see my screen. Okay, so our agenda today is actually quite simple. I'm going to do a quick little introduction. I'm going to show you the process of starting off with there's a problem and how it navigates through the landlord tenant board. The steps you take, we'll go through those as well. Then we're going to do the portal tutorial. And then I'm also going to do a hearing process. So just very quickly go through what the process is when you're in a hearing. And then we'll follow up with the rest of the steps to take. So to start with, I always like to do this little introduction. Please be advised the presentation is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice. Navigating the legal system is difficult, so please consider seeking legal advice from a paralegal or lawyer right away. Questions you need to ask, whether you even fall under what we call the Residential Tenancies Act. If you're renting a room, you're in a roommate situation, you're not actually covered. So you do need to look into that. And you'll also hear me use these phrases, the Residential Tenancies Act and the Landlord Tenant Board, or I'll short form them as we go through the presentation. The RTA is the governing act. These are the laws, the rules that govern the landlord-tenant relationship. The Landlord-Tenant Board is the tribunal that actually hears the issues and the matters. So the Landlord Tenant Board is not there for legal advice. They are there just to adjudicate any hearings and make rulings on what they feel is necessary. In the presentation, I provided the toll-free number for the LTB. If you have any questions about forms, how to send them in, you'd call that number, or you can also email them. So let's go through the process. An issue arises between the landlord-tenant. So you've got a relationship, there's the landlord and the tenant, and maybe something conflicts. Might be maintenance issues. You might have arrears that you owe because you haven't been paying rent. And this is where the process starts. Because if you're not able to resolve it between yourselves, you need to bring somebody else involved. So that's the first step. Now, then if that is not resolved by sending a notice, parties may file an application. Now, I want to warn you, these dates can fluctuate. So I'm taking a rough guess just based upon my experience. But when you put your application into the Landlord Tenant Board, sometimes it takes 2 months, sometimes it could take up to 6 months to actually get a file number. Now, once you get a file number, you have to wait for a hearing date, and that could take quite a few months after that as well. So the hearing date, let's just say that it does get set and it's sometime in the future. You're also going to have to what we call exchange evidence. This is where the portal comes involved. So again, we'll get to that in a minute. Then the parties attend a Zoom hearing. So everything that's done with this tribunal, most tribunals actually, are done over a Zoom meeting. So they're able to see your face, but you're actually not in a courtroom. You would present your evidence, you're going to question witnesses, and then the final result would be the adjudicator makes a decision. So it's not necessarily what they call a ruling, like as in a higher court, like small claims, but the decision is both parties have agreed to have this adjudicator make that decision for them. So step one is navigating Tribunals Ontario. I'm going to actually pull this up right now. Just give me a quick second. Navigating the, sorry, give me a second here. Navigating this is an actual step. So as you can see, I've made it a link, and it's going to take you right here. Navigate Tribunals Ontario. When you go into this, and we're not going to go into too many details, and you'll see why, it's going to start off with this screen. And it's going to ask you, are you the landlord, the tenant, a co-op, or a co-op member? Okay. Once you click this screen, it's going to give you a number. And this is why we can't go any further than this, but don't worry about that. It's going to give you a number so that if any of the work you've done, you can go back and look at it. And you would continue answering the questions that they ask. So first would be, are you the tenant? Yes, I am. The next would be, what is your issue? Do you have an issue? Did you receive an eviction notice? Do you have maintenance issues? And it sort of works your way through the process that I just went through with you. The things that you need to do, the forms you need to fill out. Because remember, like I said, oh, you don't want to see that. Sorry about that. The Landlord Tenant Board, when you call that number, they're not there to give you legal advice, but they can direct you and navigate you towards the right form. Navigate Tribunals Ontario, that button I just showed you, will do the exact same thing. So step two, you're going to fill out forms. And I always tell people, please, please, please read the instructions first. So when you see where a form is located, right next to it, it's going to have a little link, and it's going to take you to the instructions. Read the instructions first. Not only are they telling you how to fill out a form, most people know how to type their name, but what you need to know is exactly how the information is processed in the form. This not only makes it easier, but it's accurate to give the form to the other person. So make sure you read the instructions first. Be careful to fill out the sections with accurate information. And both the forms and the instructions will state the deadlines that need to be met. So remember what I was saying about the process? Well, the LTB is going to issue you a file number. And this is where we get into the portal, because you can now log into it. You're going to receive, with that file number, you are going to receive a PIN number. And that PIN number is for the first time that you log in. So let's get to that. This is the first screen that you're going to see. Oh, this is the first screen that you're going to see when you log into the portal. And it's asking, as you can see, for an email and a password. This combination actually comes from, I do believe it's a Service Ontario account. This is not really anything to do with the CRA or anything to do with taxes or money. This is literally a verification account. So you put in your personal information and they're going to create an account for you. Again, I can't go into that because it'll start the process and we don't want to put confidential information out there. So as you can see, my Ontario account, I've already got it listed here. I sign in and then I'm brought to this screen. So just look at the top part of my screen here and you can see, let's open that right up. On the far left, we have that file number. It talks about the date that it was submitted and your role. So if I start the application, I'm the applicant, and the respondent would be the responding party. You can click on that file number, and as you see below, this screen will pop up. And again, it just mentions all the information, who started it, and it will also, when it's ready and they've assigned you a hearing date, this will also show up. So this will always stay the same. And if they do change it for whatever reason, they will send you an email about it. As you can see below, applications. So if this is your application, and this one happens to be a T5, you would up here, click on your file, and down here on the second page that opens, click on the application. This screen pops up, and this is quite interesting. The portal is like a little mailbox, and that mailbox is holding everybody's information. So my application's in there. All the evidence that I plan on relying on at the hearing is going to be in there. And also the other side can access this file. They can see the application that I put in, any evidence I've uploaded. They can do the same and upload their information or what they plan on relying as their defense in the hearing. So once you put these documents on here, you can't remove them. So what you need to do, just give me a quick second. Any of the forms, before you upload them, remember, like I said, check the instructions and see if this is something that you necessarily need to upload. And as you see down below, before you upload any evidence, documents, or requests, please review the instructions. So it will tell you if you click on that as well. So again, follow instructions. This is if you are ready to upload a document. So as you can see here, I have blocked it out because I couldn't allow you to see that information. But the top blue bar would be the actual file number. And then as you see below, file. So it's going to say the name of the file that I uploaded. That's another thing that you should keep an eye on. If you have a PDF, so a document on your computer, Word, PDF, a picture maybe, name it according to what it is. How can we use an example? Pictures of move-in condition, pictures of water leaking, or an N4 form. So if you served your landlord and you serve an N4 notice for arrears, rent arrears that are owing, this would be the way that you label it. Make sure like the name is written in there, but that name of the file that you uploaded is going to show right there. It is for easier access later, because remember, like I said, once you upload a form, you can't take it off the portal. So make sure the name is something that you can refer back to quickly. And on the right side, they're going to number it as an evidence number. That's not anything that you need to know, don't worry. And if you go to the very bottom of this screen, after all the forms that have already been uploaded, you can add file documents. One thing you need to do before a hearing is make sure that the evidence you're relying on at the hearing, like I said before, this has all been uploaded to the portal and served upon the other party. So follow the instructions because you need to make sure it's done correctly, it's done before the deadline, and also that you've served it properly. So if they request that you put it in the portal and that's considered served, then all you need to do is upload it. So this is a pretty simple thing. You just click on the button and this screen pops up. Do you want to upload a file? Yes, I do. Uploading a file, documents, evidence, requests, okay, they are going to be seen by the other party. And then you just click on the file and it's going to get you into your computer and you can find that document like I was speaking of. Please add a description of the file. So remember what I said about the name. This is going to be for the adjudicator to be able to find easy. They can scroll up and down in the portal during the hearing, but you need to get them there relatively quick. So give them a description of what the file is. These are pictures of the maintenance issues that I've been having. And it's going to ask you what type of file this is. This is a screen, and there are quite a few that I couldn't fit in here. But just as an example, it could be an N6, an N4, and up at the top, certificate of service. That means that's your document where you're swearing that you did serve this person this information. Okay, and then just hit your confirm button. Does not include information pertaining to negotiation or settlement discussions. All right. So just to show you here, what happens when you get to the hearing process. This kind of gives you a description of the roles that people play. So let's start off with the adjudicator. The adjudicator will ask for all the witnesses to leave the room. And because you're on a Zoom meeting, they will actually put them in what they call a breakout room, okay? Because they cannot hear the information that you're testifying to prior to giving their testimony. So they know that and they'll be told, don't worry. So the applicant begins. This is your story. You tell your story about why you're there and what remedies you're looking for. The respondent might actually ask questions as well, not directly to you, but if you do have a witness, they could do that. And they might ask the adjudicator questions as well. And then we do follow-up questions. They get to present their evidence in defense, and you can ask questions of the respondent's witnesses. And any time the adjudicator might just interrupt and want clarification. They might say, what is this picture of? Tell me what's in this picture. And they will ask questions as they need to as they go along. And then you might be asked to do a closing statement. And really what this is, they don't need you to rehash everything. You've already gone through the application. You're gonna need to state things. You know, I did try to work out everything. I'm not able to complete this, you know, to fix the repairs myself. I'm looking for a remedy. I need something fixed. I need to stay in this apartment because I can't move. I'd like to set up a payment plan. Anything like that. That's what closing statement's for. So in summary, and I hope I didn't go too fast for everybody. We're going to go back in a second. But in the PDF that I've provided, I did do some links and information here. Everybody always asks, I don't have the money to be spending, to be doing this, you know, to hire a paralegal or lawyer. I understand that. I would suggest that you reach out to a paralegal, get a free consultation, tell them what you need help with, and maybe negotiate a price. Because having someone take care of this for you is such a relief off your shoulders that you don't have to speak on your own. Your story will be heard. Your evidence will be presented. They don't forget things like you might, you know, if you're upset during the hearing. But these are places you can reach out to. Pro Bono Ontario. They're going to court for you. They do appeals. And they also do help with housing issues. So I've left all that information there. If you're looking for a lawyer or paralegal, contact the Law Society of Ontario. They do referrals. You can find paralegals in your area, or you can search and find anything on your own for information. And also you can contact legal aid. I can't guarantee anything. I don't know exactly what they'll be able to help you with, but if you're facing eviction, it's best to reach out. So that's it for there. I'm going to just quickly, if you don't mind, zip back here. Because we did all that information, remember I did the hearing date has been set. Become familiarized with Zoom if you haven't before. Click this link. It's actually from Zoom, and they actually have a tutorial that's helped me walk my way through what is it like? How do I screen share? How do I put myself on mute? How do I take myself off mute or raise my hand? It'll walk you through all those steps that you might need. And being prepared for the hearing date. I've added just a few, and I'm not going to go through them. I've added an article on self-representation. If you're doing this on your own, maybe click on that and give it a good read. It'll help you with the steps that you need to take. And that's it for now. If we have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
So thank you very much, Rebekah, for this. And yes, actually, we do have some questions. First questions we've got is from Alan. What if you never received a PIN to added the file to your account?
Oh, at the beginning of the presentation was the Landlord Tenant Board email. Send them an email. Let them know who you are. So I'm the tenant in this matter. I sent my application in on this day. I've received my my file number, but I haven't received a PIN yet. And they should usually get back to you pretty quick. That's a simple, it happens all the time, but send an email out to them. If you don't hear from them, I give them about 5 business days. If you don't hear back from them, send them another email. And if need be, get on the phone. I don't suggest doing it because it does take hours of hold time, but give that phone number a call. You might actually get through to somebody that could take care of it immediately.
Thank you very much. Also, we've got another question from Alan. They request that you submit the evidence 7 days in advance of the hearing. Is that the same for documents uploaded in the portal?
Well, it depends on what you mean, because are you relying on those documents? Documents could be an end for notice of termination or notice of ending of tenancy due to arrears. Now, the landlord needs to rely on that document at the hearing. They can upload it with their application, or they can wait to the 7 days, okay? If things change, remember the time frame, months go by, things have been, maybe you don't owe that money anymore, and you are bringing application regarding maintenance issues, or the maintenance issues got worse. You need to notify, this is the evidence that I'm relying on. That's documents that you need to have uploaded 7 days in advance. So again, it does depend on which document you're talking about, but generally they are all uploaded 7 days prior. Receipts showing that you've paid. Maybe the landlord fixed the problem. All these things will be, if they're relied upon at the hearing and you want them in that file, then you need to do that 7 days prior. I hope that answered your question.
So I will get back to Alan if he's still with us. Alan, if this has answered your question or if you have any further. Yeah, Alan is answering. Thank you. You are more than welcome. And we actually got a question. I think I can answer that, Rebekah, on your behalf. That question, where do we find that PDF? the presenter just mentioned. It's now being uploaded to the RRAI website at the event page. If you go to rrlondon.ca, you will see the events, the sessions that we are conducting recently. One of them is this one. So once you just click on that page, you will find the video, as well as you will find the PDF that we've talked about. We are just, I'm just uploading it, so just give me few moments and it will be there, and I will post the URL for in the chat as well.
Perfect.
Any other questions, comments? I would be very grateful if you could just to our distinguished audience, if they could fill the feedback forms. This has would help us a lot to improve the service we are providing. So, and I'm looking if there is any other questions or comments. I'm just examining the different social media platforms. Because we are now streaming this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So I'm just moving between the 4 portals. Okay, so we've got another question. Does the port take larger files than what is allowed via email?
No, that's a good question. It's going to tell you. You might have to break it up a little bit. You know, one thing that I did find, like, you get a bunch of pictures and it's in a zip file. That's not going to work. It has to be, think simple documents. Instead, and this is just something that I personally do, but if I have a lot of pictures and I pick the ones that I want to rely on, I actually put it in a Word document and I number them and, you know, make a heading that says exactly what the file entails. I put that in a Word document and then I save it as a PDF. That is the easiest way to get pictures uploaded. Instead of uploading them in maybe a format, like, I know you can do JPEG, but sometimes they're too big. Like you said, the file is just way too big. So you can't do zip. They can't extract it on the other side. It has to be simple forms and documents. So think small, but not compressed. Does that make sense?
Well, hopefully this answered the question.
Yeah.
Let me check.
You.
Yeah, let me check, because now we are, you know, in something like a live chat within the audience, and I can confirm that the PDF file is uploaded into the event page, and I'm going to post this into the Facebook chat so people could have access to it.
Good, good, good.
Any other question, comment? You know, I do have a question, Rebekah, if I may.
Yes.
You've said that you need to be detailed as much as you can. So that would be at certain point an issue, because getting a lot of documents and evidences, and especially pictures, might be a little bit confusing. So is there any, let's say, for example, a recommended order that you can just classify, put your evidences in different categories that might help you presenting your case better in front of the board?
Absolutely. That's great advice. Remember I said you were going to tell your story. Well, you don't want to start part of your story and then branch off over here and, oh, he did this and then she said this. So if you do sort of streamline it, what you can start with, as Heatham's suggesting, is I'm going to start off with, on this date at this time, this happened. I issued a notice. This is the notice, and then you'd present your evidence. there's your document. That's the first one you've uploaded. So yes, you can definitely streamline it is both the best way to do it. And have your evidence ready on hand, but pick and choose what you're going to do. The adjudicator is not going to have time to see 100 pictures of the same hole in the wall. So pick the best one. Make sure that it's accurately represents what you are relying on at the hearing. And if they ask, well, do you have more? Yes, I do. You can then either upload them or screen share. The adjudicator will let you know. But too much is sometimes not a good thing.
So yeah, actually, that's answered the question. Thank you. This is a comment from our related to the last question, and you've got also a comment from Rachel Mirucci. Thank you. Great tip, Rebecca. So we've got another question. In your experience, how long does it take to receive a decision?
A decision. Usually they reserve 30 days. So you could receive it in 14 days. That's our general, what we've been told. There have been times that people have waited as long as 2 months, but it's also about the importance. So if it is a large case and the adjudicator is going to need some time, there was a lot of evidence presented and they need to go over it. They research their notes and follow the law. It might take longer. So simple matters are, like I said, usually within 30 days. If it is taking longer than a couple months, again, reach out, send a note through the email is the best way, and let them know that you've been waiting and what's taking so long. And there are certain processes, I'm not going to go into detail about it here, but you would move up another step. They would take a look. There's another email that you can send. But basically, it should not take that long, longer than the 2-month mark. And if it does, they'll let you know what you can do to figure it out.
Thank you very much. So just looking at the portals, is there any other question, comment? In case of none, I would like to express my thanks to you, Rebecca, for this very informative session. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And for everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. Please feel free to fill out the feedback forms. It will help us a lot. Thanks and have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.